I am committed to not just success for nurses as legal nurses, but success of nurses in general. Tune into this and listen, because this is another opportunity for you to hop in to something that can change your life. I want to bring in our guest speaker, Natalie, to join us. So today is really about, so many of us are just deathly afraid, Natalie, of failing at business, right? As nurses, we're just like, what do you mean business? I don't know how to do that. I think what I love about you and I, our last conversation, was when I discovered that you had another opportunity for nurses. I was just like, okay, let's introduce this into our group. And again, guys, just to clarify, this isn't legal nurse consulting specific at all.
Absolutely. So yes, we are all nurses here. I think there is a lot of fear, whether you haven't yet decided to start your business and you're still working, or you're at bedside trying to create your business, or maybe you're seeing growth, but you're sitting in that uncertainty, right? And so there's a lot of fear around entrepreneurship. What if I can't do this? What if I don't know everything? What if I can't do it? What about the money and the security? Because right now I work 12 hours and I get a paycheck. What is there to offer on the other side of that? And that the subconscious drives 96% of everything that we do. And I have processes that allow us to rewire that to then change behaviors, change actions, and align us with what we actually want. But let me tell you what the real problem is. The real problem, even in all that list of problems, is the self-preservation mechanism. Our self-preservation mechanism in our body says it's not safe to run the business because it's not the fear of rejection, or I can't put myself out there, or I can't be authentic. And essentially what this all comes down to, the self-preservation mechanism and all of those problems go away whenever we can actually overcome our trauma. And once you heal your trauma, all those things go away.
Let me ask you about self-preservation, because I want to connect the dots here, because I think sometimes this, like when I've first heard self-preservation, I really understand the concept. So we talk about fears and we talk about limiting beliefs. Here's an example, guys, and Natalie, chime in too. Something that I had learned when I learned about this was, okay, I'm afraid to start a business because I'm afraid I'm going to fail. And my fear is my subconscious saying, don't do it. It's not safe. You might die. So I want to bring this element in, because this is actually how we work. Biologically, where we are built from ancient times, truly think about evolution, but our brains haven't actually evolved as much as other organs and systems have. So literally, if I'm like, I want to go do this, and I have this like stricken fear where I'm just like, it's because my subconscious is like, not safe. You might not live, because our bodies are built for survival. The fight or flight or fawn is like a real thing. We've just named it something. That's how our body responds. What do you think we're running from, people? Tigers? We're not doing that anymore. So like when I realized this, and I realized when my fear comes about, I have to ask myself, hold on, is this do or die for me? This is just a decision that takes me outside of my comfort zone. And that's the self-preservation element, is the fight or flight. That's what fear does in your body. Your brain is trying to be like, whoa, hold on, whatever that fun thought is that you've got, don't do it. You might die. But starting a business is not life or death, though. So there's like this false communication, right? This false sense of communication where we're misinterpreting fear because our brain is aligning us for this life or death scenario. And what we might be afraid of isn't life or death at all.
The body responds as though there's literally a lion about to eat you in front of you. If you were to reach out to in your messaging, or post this content, or call up this potential client, or sign the dotted line to say, yes, I'm ready to start my business. And so the body, the amygdalas fire off and everything responds. And then it drives you as fast and furious as it can back into the uncomfortable comfort zone of the wage cage, or wherever you are. And you're like, I really want a different life. And you keep getting driven back into the comfort zone, because on the other side, the brain, we don't know if we're going to live or die, but we do know that 48 plus hours a week, even though you're exhausted, even though you want more time with your kids, we do know that you're going to live there.
Let that resonate. You just said your brain is telling us, even though we're working 48 plus hours a week and we want something different, if we do something different, it doesn't know if we can live or survive in that new element. So we know we can survive here. We don't enjoy it. We don't like it. and it might actually be killing us. But this is where we're living now, so we're going to live there. That's what you're saying. It's like pushing us back into the stasis place where it's like, but we are living, so let's stay here.
On a subconscious level, we will stop ourselves from moving forward because according to the brain and the lizard brain, it says there's no way that you're going to move forward.
Okay, so all this talk about this, right? We're talking about these trauma responses. This is hardwiring. So biologically, by nature, we're hardwired this way. Now stack on nurse hardwiring, which is the procrastination and the over analytical aspect, where I'm sure, raise your hand, guys, in the chat, if you can relate. Before you walk into a room, you've ran every scenario and you know every possible action and reaction to anything. So when you walk in, it doesn't really matter if the sprinkler turns on or if the patient's on the floor or if they're breathing or not. You've ran every scenario. You're totally prepared. You got it. Or bringing awareness to it. Tell me what you have that can help us overcome these elements, because obviously if we can't get past this stuff, we can only be as successful as what someone else gives us permission to be.
We have to determine what your truth is. And from there, we actually can go in and rewire it to give you the ability, the option, the choice to take action, because right now it's really not a choice. And this is where I always tell people, give themselves grace. And they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But it's important to understand that you are literally, your brain does everything for you, even though it misinterprets. It does everything for you. And so this self-preservation is for you. So if you're like, I've done everything I can and I still feel like I'm hitting a wall and I can't get past this, I can't retain it. I can't understand it. I can't make the move. I can't say yes. There's a reason. And so what we do is we go in and we find the root of the reason so that we can pluck the root out and give you an opportunity for choice, because otherwise our behaviors will continually be driven in the same pattern of self-preservation, and we will never be able to truly create the life that we want. No one can see what actual reality is because we have lenses and filters.
It's our memories.
Yes, all of our memory, all of our parental programming, social programming, nurse programming, all of that.
Natalie, this is why babies are fearless, because they don't have enough memories and programming to be afraid of anything.
Absolutely.
This is the basis of it. So you're saying old programming that has old memories that have nothing to do with business can truly stop us in our tracks.
Oh, 110%. And most of the time, yes, you're like, that has nothing to do with this, but it absolutely does.
Your brain is going to look at it and see money. And depending on how you feel or what you've discovered in your past, your relationship with money, you said it, Natalie, some people think money makes people greedy. Some people think that a lot of money is going to make them turn out like that.
If my belief is that I can't handle money, or it's not okay to have this amount of money, or I will run up my credit cards and go on a shopping spree or sabotage my business so that I don't have that money, according to the subconscious mind, it has to play out the truth that lives in the brain. So if it's unsafe for you to be in that pain, regardless of whether it's trying to ride a new bike for the first time or start a business for the first time, if it's not safe, it's not happening. I see that this is something totally different. Like, it actually pulls us closer to what reality actually is.
So there's a statistic, Natalie, that 96% of businesses fail within their first 3 years. It seems like it's because as a species, we are not necessarily hardwired to survive, and we have to counterbalance hardwiring, like you're saying, and truly go back to the root of what we interpret as our truth. And when we figure out the source of it, like you said, change the connection. Does me filing for my LLC have anything to do with life or death? Why am I so afraid to do it? It doesn't matter how much tactical effort or how much drive you have. If it's 20% tactical and strategy and 80% mental, I think that the most benefit you can give yourself and the greatest advantage would be to focus on mental. Tactical can always be learned and will come, but you don't want to stop dead in your tracks in a tactical scenario because you mentally can't process or understand why you feel a certain way.
Right now, if you're feeling stuck, most likely the reason is because your brain is in self-preservation mode.
Doing something we're not even consciously aware of and can identify.
Exactly.
True story, guys. This does happen because it's happened to me, and Natalie's helped me rewire aspects of my brain where I'm like, oh wait, what? And I was in tears in conversation. And I literally said to her, this doesn't even make sense. Why am I so upset about something that has no relevance to my current situation? But it was a memory triggering that emotion. And that's how I felt then. I had to identify it, like you said, identify the source of the truth, and then consciously be like, they have literally nothing to do with each other. There is no way this could possibly impact this. And I thought that was so cool. It was immediate relief. It was like, it's so crazy. So like the fight or flight, think about the term fight or flight. You're either fighting for your life or running to save your life. There's not often, like when the really big beetle flew at my face and scared the daylights out of me, I was running like I was running from a tiger or a lion or something, like you said. And it's just comical for me to say that because I have been reprogramming and rewiring for years. You literally think it was like going to poke my eye out or something, the way I ran from the beetle, the flying beetle. So this is a very, very kind of like dumb, simple concept, but that's my point is we are not even aware that we respond this way. So our biology takes over at times, and I think it's powerful to have awareness. Natalie said, you can't even help yourself if you're not aware that's happening.
And it allows you to give yourself permission to say, wow, there really isn't anything wrong with me. It's the brain doing what the brain does. Because as a nurse, I always want to know the why. Like I always need to know the inner workings. And once you know the inner workings, like your whole world expands. It's, oh, now I can be an observer in the situation and I see what's going on so that I can take my control back and navigate this better.
So let me ask you this. You've had people who've worked with you and done content for cash. You've had people work through and do these concepts. Where have you seen them take their profits to? Give us some examples.
Absolutely. I had a client that worked with me and she had 123% increase in her revenue. I've had clients who have been terrified and paralyzed, cannot take any action. And then after working with me, their whole life changed because it doesn't just change your business. It changes your relationships. It changes your health. It changes your finances. It changes everything.
So you also recently worked with a nurse. You told me that she came to you and she was making like $2,000 a month in her business. And within 6 months' time, she was making 10,000 plus a month, right? Wasn't it like 14.5 or something was her number? Like that was, so in less than 6 months, she had gone from just a couple to literally 5xing. No, that's way more than 5. That's 6 or 7xing her business by doing some of this subconscious work. Because I remember you telling me some stuff about her story. Did you guys do anything tactical or was it all subconscious work?
It was all subconscious work. It was also because the thing is, you can have every tool in the shed when it comes to business strategy, and you're not going to get anywhere if you don't start to rewire the brain and deal with all of the stuff that comes up in entrepreneurship, which everything bubbles to the surface that we've very safely suppressed, right? And so then we unlock the doors to abundance. We unlock the doors to allow yourself to create content and messaging and the confidence and stand in the power in that and the energy. Your conversion rates immediately increase.
Love this. This is in such alignment, Natalie, with the PPE marketing strategy that we teach: power, position, and educate. And it does come from a place of standing in your power, right? Standing in your power has been an element that a lot of us struggle with because we're suppressed by external factors, and that becomes a belief and a belief system that kind of drives how we live life.
When we work on ourselves, like it has a ripple effect, and when we in our ripple effect can essentially change the world together.
You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Want full access to expert-led trainings, networking opportunities, and resources you won't find anywhere else? The NLNCN is the only national network built for nurses by nurses. Join today and get up to 2 months free. Click the link below to start exploring.